to it. For those who cannot see on what's this called? Instagram, it won't let me post with the reason for this live is, so I do apologize. It is on Money Monday Live, and today we will be discussing things you should be doing while you wait for your 1099s or W2s to arrive. So, in the event you do not see the caption, no worries. You can either go get on Facebook or YouTube or even Clubhouse, or you can just pull out a pen, a sheet of paper, your notepad, and your phone, whatever works for you, and get to taking notes. Because I'm gonna run down this real quick. Happy New Year, everybody. I know this is your first time seeing here from anybody on the Our Stop Shop team since the year started. Unfortunately, we have been sick since Sam's birthday, and quite honestly, we are not 100 yet. We are probably at what, Thomas, 80 to 85% back functioning. So I'm gonna try to get really to the point with this, so everybody can take the information, run with it, and I can rest, to be real with you. In the event you have sent any emails, text messages, anything, will be sorting through those for the next couple of days. So nothing was disregarded. We were just out of the office for 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks, and we're just getting back. All right, so let's get into it. Things you should be doing while you wait for your 1099s or W2s to arrive. Alrighty, so in the event you were somebody who did any type of business over the course of 2021, since it's 2022 now, and you were paying people over $600, in the event it was not at a retail store or you were not invoiced from the business directly, it is time for you to get to sending those 1099s out, because at this point, those are classified as earnings. They have to be reported to the IRS. So it is your responsibility to send out those 1099s if you were paying people over $600 over the course of 2021, and you did not it was not a transaction that came with a receipt, like a commerce or store purchase and stuff like that, or in the event it was a service from a business that did not actually invoice you for the product, services, or whatever rendered to you. In that situation, it's now time for you to get those 1099s sent out to them, and they have to be mailed off they have to be dated by January 31st. So you have just around, actually, I think you have exactly 2 weeks left to get those out. So this is super important to get done. If you have no idea how to do it, I will speak for us. I won't speak for everybody. We get our accountants to do it for us. And so all of our event staff, all of those things, those invoices for everybody that received over $600 are going out over the next 2 weeks, right? As long as they're posted by January 31st, you are good to go. However, if you're the type of person that hates waiting until the beginning of February to get your W2s or 1099s, don't be the type of person that waits to send them out into that time. Okay. One of the biggest things that always happens at the beginning of the year that a lot of people don't realize is prices go up. Businesses, services, products, factors are incorporated. And at the beginning of the year is typically when people implement price increases. Prime example, last year my health insurance was 100% free. This year my health insurance is $5 a month, right? So that premium isn't that big of a deal in comparison. It still includes all of these amazing all these services and complimentary things without a copay, but it went up. It is not the only thing that went up. We had other little services go up, start incorporating taxes, start incorporating service fees, start incorporating little nuances, right? Prime example, the landing page and email service that we constantly recommend to our entrepreneurs is ConvertKit, right? Prior to this year, ConvertKit did not charge taxes on their monthly fee if you get to a point where you are eligible to incur a monthly fee with them. Well, they started at the beginning of the year. They started in imposing state taxes, right? Based on whatever address you have registered on your account. That took the fee up. That little bit of state taxes, granted, it's not a whole lot, but in the event you are the type of person, which everybody should be, quite honestly, that has a budget, that uses a budget, that kind of structures your financial plans and goals and things around a budget, this is the time for you to find out what modifications are about to happen to the budget that you normally have. Check them. Call, you can confirm, you can check. Typically, if there are any rate changes happening, they send out an email. And this time of year, because you're getting a lot of correspondence, a lot of that stuff goes to your spam and your junk folder. So it's super important for you to be literally checking for every product, service, and resource you use to make sure you don't miss it, because that can do some major damage to you if you're used to spending 105 and it went up to 115 or something like that. That little $10 could have something get denied or bounce back that doesn't normally get bounced back, right? So that's one of the major things that everybody does. In the event you did a lot of spending and you do your spending on credit cards, which everybody to do, use cashback cards. Why? Because you get a return on investment on everything. But in the event you have done that over the course of all 2021, or a good chunk of 2021, or you started at the end, it doesn't matter when you started. If you implemented the using the credit cards and accumulating the cash back as a part of your financial strategy during 2021, guess what you can do to save yourself a lot of time right now? You can go to your credit card statement and pull your annual report statement. That report will break down where your spending transpired over the course of the year, literally down to the dollar and down to the industry. So one of the things that they rolled out as a stimulus benefit to help with stimulating the economy in connection to the pandemic, they rolled out a feature where you're technically eligible to get a tax deduction, a tax credit deduction for any restaurant or out or dining you did over the course of 2021. But you need to know where that money, you need to be able to account for those numbers. And 9 out of 10 people do not hold on their receipts like us. So that annual statement report will make it super easy for you to pinpoint exactly how much you spent on dining and things like that. Super streamlined. It'll also allow you to see other things, your utility bill. It'll break down everything: groceries, utility bills, leisure shopping, entertainment, restaurants, clothing, all those little things as well. So make sure you get that. In the event you haven't, like I said, we've been sick and pretty much in quarantine the last 2+ weeks. So we did it today, but in the event you haven't and you use your car for business to any extent, whether it's going to do pop-up shops as a side hustle, whether it's doing hair, whether it's traveling out of town to go do BA jobs, it's so many different ways that you can so many different things you can utilize as transportation purposes. If you didn't scan the mileage on your car, you get a lot of credit. Some people like to claim the fuel, but typically the fuel does not compare to the mileage tax deductions you're eligible for using your car for anything business related. So this is the perfect time for you to scan the mileage on your car. We recommend you do it literally the soon as New Year's Day hit. Just take a picture. And when I say scan, I mean take a picture of the speedometer in your car January 1st. That way, January 1st of next year hits, you just subtract one from the other. And typically, you know what percentage was utilized over the course of that year for business and travel and blah, 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 blah. So you need to go do that because you need to claim that mileage tax deduction. It is a huge one. And I promise you, it is worth doing it. It is always worth doing it, especially if you're kind of ripping and running to handle business, or you use your car for marketing, whether it's the vinyl on the windshield with your company's social media or contact information on it, whether it's a magnet on your car, which we talked about as as its own strategy over the course of last year. So in the event you implemented all that, that's a lot you now get to claim on the back end to get your tax liability down as far from owing as possible. Okay. And all of that leads to the most important thing. You need to be able, for us, we own a couple of businesses, we have personal taxes, um, and so for us, our accountant greatly appreciates when we can just tell him what to toss in which sections. So what we typically do, we create an Excel sheet. We kind of have an Excel template at this point that we provide to everybody who participates in our Get Your Life course, and it stays within the support group for the Get Your Life course members as well. And that template, you're literally, if you are spending off credit cards, it makes it so easy because you can literally pull it straight off the statement report breakdown and toss it straight into the template, letting you know how much you spent per month or per year under each industry. It makes it super, super easy for you to just go to your account and say, hey, this falls under this section, this falls under this section. And it makes it super easy for all those deduction eligible, all that deduction eligible spending you did over the course of the previous year to be easily factored in to your tax returns when it's time to file, whether it's for your personal or for your business. We do it on every business we have. It sounds tedious, but I promise it is not, especially if you designate at least one or two cards for each business, or if you have multiple businesses, or you designate one for business, whether it's a business credit card or it's a personal credit card that you're using exclusively for business. It makes it super, super easy to just pull those numbers off real quick, get it reported, and get ready to just take it straight to your tax preparer, whether it's one of the kind of blockchains, or whether it's a full-fledged CPA account and something like that during your taxes. I promise it goes a long way. And if you want to get access to our template, you can always sign up for the Get Your Life course. That's the easiest way to do it. But you can also reach out to us, and we'll see if we can get it to you on the back end as well. Okay. A big one. If you own any type of real estate, whether it's land, whether it's real assets, even I believe, even if you own like timeshares and things of that nature, this is the time to make sure you pay those taxes if you have it. One of the things we do, the first 3 months into the new year, we're buying a lot of tax lien auction properties. What does that mean? That means people who did not pay their property taxes for 2021, a lot of counties are quick to be willing to foreclose and send your stuff to an auction. Unfortunately, it's the easiest way that a lot of people lose wealth in our community. However, it is also, for us as investors, the easiest way for us to get access to new real estate. So make sure you pay your property taxes. It is truly, it's a nuisance, but it is fundamentally necessary. Or prepare to pay it. You know what I'm saying? You may need to you may have to pay it after you get your little tax refund. So this is why you're preparing to get your taxes to-do list in order immediately. So as soon as you can file your taxes, you can use that refund to pay it. But pay it as soon as possible, because baby, it goes derogatory real quick, and that auction process can come at you fast. So prepare to pay your property taxes if you haven't. Prepare to pay annual recertification fees on any business registered with the Secretary of State. So as of January 1st, in the event you own an LLC, a corporation, anything registered with the Department of the Secretary of State, it's that time of year again, y'all, where it's time to pay those annual recertification fees. Now, let's get into it. Our goal for 2022 is every business connected to us, whether you're a newbie, whether you've been in this thing for years and you just been working from a cash point of equity, whatever. Our goal, 2022, every business connected to us will start building business credit. What does that mean? That means, in the event you already have an established business with the Secretary of State and it's registered at your home, it's registered at you can't register it at a P.O. box. So if you don't have a physical location, right? We're starting to see a lot more businesses in our community getting the storefronts and things like that, which we love. But if you are a business that does not have a physical location, or if you got your physical location after you started your business, right now, you need to be preparing to get everything changed over to your physical location's address if it wasn't registered initially that way. Or if you are a business that does not have a physical location, it is time for you right now, before you get around to pay your annual recertification fees and update your file, get you a virtual mailbox ASAP. That is a top tier necessary thing. You cannot build business credit with your home address on your file. I promise you, you cannot. And the easiest way to start formalizing your business is get you an address independently of your separate from your home, i.e., a virtual mailboxes. Virtual mailboxes are actual physical business locations that you pay a monthly fee, typically more often than not, it's a monthly fee to be able to acknowledge that as your business address. On average, the fee is somewhere between $10 and $20. A lot more often than not, you can get your virtual mailbox around about $10 a month point. It's so many of them. Reach out to us. There's a list of a few that we strongly recommend. But getting a virtual mailbox is going to blow your mind how common they are. They're all around you. A lot of the biggest and most amazing corporate buildings around you typically have a little section that offers virtual mailboxes. A lot of these individual mailing and shipping companies, the mom and pop shops, they typically offer a virtual mailbox option through them as well. Things of that nature. Typically, it's about $10 a month, and you do the entire process online. And they'll forward all the business mail that gets shipped to them, right? Because that's where your business address is registered for. They'll forward it to you. They'll either have a monthly forwarding, weekly forwarding, or they'll have an option for you to be able to pick it up. So one of the most amazing virtual mailbox options is actually right. If you're in the Raleigh-Durham area, RTP, where they just built Box Yard, one of those buildings is actually being utilized as virtual mailbox. So that's a great place to consider because it's so close to home, but then it's super newly upgraded that it's not being flagged for business credit purposes. So get your virtual mailbox. You need it to build business credit. If you don't have a physical business location, you can put it that you can register your business under. On top of that, you need to buy your domain. If you are a business in business, you need to own the domain for your business name. Own the domain for your business name. The more unique your business name is, the chances of you just being able to go to domain.com, GoDaddy, really it's 5,000 different sites that let you and right now they're running promotions where you can buy it. If you buy your domain for like the first 2 years, it's like 1 cent for 1 year, and then like somewhere between 8 to $15 a year after that. That sounds expensive, but I promise it's not. Why is that not expensive? Because you need to own the domain for you to be able to have the company email address attached to the domain. And that is step number 2. If you are building business credit, I know that everybody loves those free email addresses through Gmail, Yahoo, Google, what's the other ones? AOL, Hotmail. Look, the Outlook, those are bad for business credit applications. Those almost come off as illegitimate businesses. So even if you've been in business for a long time and you've been rocking with it, I promise you, get you that formal email address, because the domain with your formal email address attached to it is going to get you a lot more validity of your business for real business funding. So do that ASAP. You buy the domain, then you just add the email service to it. There are some low cost options that you can take advantage of to keep the cost down. But understand, in business, the deposit always comes before the withdrawal. And quite frankly, there are a few things you should be actively investing in your business. These are some of them. I already covered the domain, I already covered the email, I already covered the virtual mailbox. Get you an 800 number. 800 number, 800 number, 800 number. If you guys are connected to us and you have ever texted us, you know our text number is an 800 number. It's 1833, blah, blah, blah. But get your 800 number. 800 numbers are considered just, they make your business look more validated and formal. and they are factored into your business credit application process as well. So get your 800 number. That 800 number does not have to be used as your default contact, but it should be provided whenever you are registering things for business credit purposes specifically. So get you that 800 number. There are some very low cost options like $1 to $2 a month. There are also some free options. Typically, the free options can be janky or unreliable. So typically, at least the $1 to $5 a month option kind of works just fine. And the 800 number can literally just be forwarded to your normal phone that you use, your cell phone, your house phone, whatever, right? And do all of that before you update your recertification. So your annual recertification, when it's time to report to the the Secretary of the State, my apologies, I'm really going through it. The Secretary of State, you have the ability to update any information about your company. You have the ability to update your physical address. You have the ability to update your contact information. You have the ability to update your email. You have the ability to update all those little things. You want to update those with the Secretary of State first. Why? Because that document from the Secretary of State is what you're going to provide to the banks when you're making the changes to your bank accounts. It's going to be the information that's referenced to update or provide or establish your Dun and Bradstreet number if you don't already have it. A Dun and Bradstreet number is fundamentally necessary to build business credit. So you have no choice but to get it. The Dun and Bradstreet number and your EIN number, which is your tax ID number attached to your business, those two things are the equivalent of your social security number on the personal credit side. That Dun and Bradstreet number, that is literally the number one report that's constantly referenced when they're trying to see your credit eligibility. So I promise you, it's way easier to do this on the front end, get the Dun and Bradstreet number, than kind of ruffle through it and get to it when you feel like, and then try to get it updated. I know a number of people that have tried to update their Dun and Bradstreet numbers with updated business information, and they go through a hell of a time. So do it before you recertify. That way everything's updated. Then it's possible to just get it translated all the way through a lot easier. Those are going to be some of the most important ones. And most importantly, set your financial goal for this year. Inflation is getting serious. I don't know if people are realizing it. The rental real estate has gone up by over 20, is it 20 or 30%? Just in Durham alone, rental rates have gone up by over 20% in the last year. We were buying, one of the things that I noticed just recently, it may not be that big of a deal to you, but it stood out to me enough to notice. I noticed that hot dogs went up to just over $6 a pack, almost everywhere but Walmart. So another thing I noticed was oil, cooking oil, like vegetable and canola oils, which is what the lowest grade of the oils you can buy, right? I noticed those are up to like $5 to $7 for that average, like I think 64-ounce bottle. Like inflation is getting very, very real. And so while there are ways to supplement it with the cash back strategies we teach you about in the apps that'll pay you for the stuff you just bought, things like that, it is super, super important to know what money you plan to have come in, what money you already strategically plan to go out for a return for investment, because things are changing. And I recommend everybody take this time. It's January 17th. Take this time to make an executive decision to see how your money's coming in, see if you have more money leaving than coming in. And if you have actively saved or invested alongside of us, this is a great time for you to assess the progression that happens over the course of this year. This is a great time for you to record the balances or any investments you have. This is a great time to record the balances or any money you have accumulated, either to save for your emergency fund, in bank accounts, just as a reserve or stashes or whatever. This is also a great time to record all debt you currently have at the beginning of the year. Um, because it'll allow for you to see which way your progression. You may find that some things that you thought were one thing have drastically changed, and it didn't come to your attention until over the course of a couple of weeks or months, you're spending a little bit more than you were normally spending on that. So I hope these tips help you. If you have any questions, by all means, feel free to drop them bad boys in the comments real quick. If not, I also want to take this moment to thank every single person that reached out to us, whether it was on social media or privately via phone calls that turned into voicemails or text messages, or even just DMs, wishing us well and sending us good energy and recovery vibes. We are not back to 100 by far. It is taking everything in me not to cough during this, but we are ready to get back to work. And so if you are on our email list, be sure to go check it. Today, we were finally able to announce what's been in the works since last year. Since last April, we have been looking for an event space to house the Buy Black Market Trade Show, as well as just we realized how many others in our community were struggling to get access to spaces that were conducive for the things that they were working on and building towards. And so for that reason, we have been looking since April for an event space, like a permanent event space, and we found several. And we pinpointed one that we are ready to open in Central Raleigh ASAP, 15,000 square feet. And we plan to have it open before the Buy Black Market that is already scheduled for Easter weekend. However, we want to make sure everybody can benefit from it. It isn't something we just want to create for the sake of having. We want to actually create it as a resource for everybody to have access to. And for that reason, we're doing a crowdfund. I know y'all at this point the culture has shifted, and most crowdfunds are for like funerals and stuff. But we're doing a crowdfund, a reward-based crowdfund, i.e., every single reward level has the ability to earn some type of incentive, whether it is free rental days at a drastic discounted price, whether it is access to the invite only red carpet event, whether it is sponsored statuses and promotional capabilities, or a combination of the few, or it may just be free giveaways. We're also doing some smaller incentives. You can donate. You can literally participate in this crowdfund with a donation as small as $5. We have the GoFundMe, where we'll be tracking what's being raised. GoFundMe, however, does not permit reward-based crowdfunding. So our crowdfunding is being executed directly through the site to avail for you to be able to receive the corresponding rewards. But you can always check out the GoFundMe. It is the first link in our bio, in our link tree. So you can definitely go there, check it out, and see all the details there as well. Share that, or you can share the link directly from our website. The header on You Buy Black site has also captures the crowdfunding. It is a big deal. We're opening up a 15,000 square foot facility that has the ability to be subsection. We've been searching after so much searching and so much going back and forth. We made the decision to go start with the 15,000 square foot space, and then our secondary space will be 3 times the size. But it's already in the works. The crowdfund is not so we can be able to afford the space. The crowdfund is so that our community is able to be a part of the growth and development in the execution process, and to be able to lock in some super insane discounts before the actual rates go live, which are going to be a lot higher, to be able to rent it. This space is going to be a flex space use that has the capacity to conduct any type of event outside of like a large concert. So if you look at the crowdfunding details, you'll see the extensive list of things that can be done on it. Give me a second. I see Fonda trying to join this live, and so I'm about to pull her in real quick. Just bear with me a second. But yeah, it's a big deal, and it is monumental. Nothing like this exists within our community. We've been looking for spaces anywhere remotely close to the size. They do not exist, and they are not accessible by the general public. So this is going to be a space that you, as an individual just trying to execute on some plans or some ideas, or as a business, has the ability to rent, whether it's for a few hours, for a day, for a week, for a month. One of the things that we are really committing to utilizing, hey Fonda, one of the things we are really committing to utilize this flex space facility for is storefronts. Because so many of our entrepreneurs do not have physical locations, we want to make sure everybody actually gets into the habit of conducting business in a way where you can drive awareness from your start. And so we want a lot of people to be able to tap into utilizing the space and get familiar with having an actual physical space to conduct business in. So you'll have the ability to rent the space for from anywhere from 3,500 square feet up to 15,000 square feet as a storefront, either daily, weekly, monthly, however you choose. And that will give you, especially if you're just starting a new business, it'll give you a way to do a soft launch, to allow for pre-orders, to allow for you to have that actual celebration of a grand opening, even if it's an online business. And that actually leads to a lot more business growth and revenue generation than people realize. So we want to encourage people to do that, right? These trade shows are amazing, but we want to make sure that all the information and resources we provide you on the back end, you actually implement and execute on to scale and grow your business so it benefits the community in the long run, sustainably. Hey, Fonda, Happy New Year. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Um, I know we fell off the face of the planet for 2 weeks. I know that was like the biggest culture shock because we always available. But yeah, COVID, I don't know if it was COVID. I'm not gonna say it was COVID because by the time we got tested, it said negative. But I'm gonna tell y'all, I've never gone through something like that before in my life. And it was tough. Uh, so the space that we're looking at in Raleigh, it does not have a kitchen. No. Where one of the biggest things we have to do, so it is a very open space right now. So it has multiple bathrooms. It is a very open space. The upside is we actually have a private area out back where it does not include a kitchen or a kitchenette. Um, but it has the ability to have outdoor full-fledged grill, fryers, yada 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 set up as long as you just require electricity. And one of the things that we have to build into it is storage, as well as we are, so that's one of the biggest our biggest issues right now. We have to create storage as well as office space, and that's why it's 15,000 square feet. The space is actually 16,000 square feet, but between the bathrooms and the space we're about to utilize, which is close to 1,000 square feet, for storage of all of the different supplies people have access to, as well as an office for us, as well as security use, and a VIP section because we don't want to compromise that. That's one of the things we created, and we're already implemented. So we plan to keep that there, just in a different method towards the back of the venue, as a space that people can kind of experience at a higher level, and it can be more personalized even when the rest of the space is being rented or utilized for other stuff. um, and Fonda, we've been going back and forth on it because we can pull the plumbing, we can technically pull the plumbing into some of that space in the back to at least have like a kitchen and fridge. It's We were just going back and forth about figuring out how to incorporate an actual source for a stove, and that is the part that made us like, okay, this space might not have it, but this is not the only space we're working on even for this year. This is just the first space we're acknowledging, because this is going to be out more so our event space headquarters, so to speak, for the home. But we're working on some stuff in a few other markets so we can make sure that everywhere we've tried to go, there's actually something that we can utilize there. And a lot of people have about 2 to 3,000 square foot spaces, and that just don't accommodate the types of moves we're making at this point and the types of moves that the community around us is trying to make. Um, so this one won't have it, though. We do have some kind of designated. We do have some designated space outside this that is ours that can be utilized for at least an outdoor setup um, for similar purposes. So we definitely been going back and forth with that for sure. We'll have a microwave though. We'll have a microwave, maybe a what's that thing called? A toaster oven. A toaster oven. A microwave. Whatnot. Gadgets. We'll have gadgets. We just won't have a full fledged kitchen or kitchenette in this one. Does anybody else have any questions? Thomas, it said something's going on with your phone. Please fix it. Yeah. Okay. Well, if not, please take a moment to go to the link in our bio, check out the crowdfunding info. In the event you have anything you want to execute as a business this year, look at the square footage attached to the different reward levels. And this is a perfect time for you to come up with a business strategy based around this crowdfunding campaign. I believe, I don't want to make it up, so bear with me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up on the laptop, which I also have pulled up right here. We've been working like crazy since we got back up and functioning. I believe one of the crowdfunding levels, let me see. Yeah, with a $500 contribution to the crowdfund, you automatically get complimentary access to a 24-hour booking and up to a 4,000 square foot space. So that's where that starts. But if you read through the fine print, you'll see that you can book spaces 3,500 square feet, 4,000, 7,500, or the whole 15,000 square feet. And so you'll notice here, you can literally make a $1,500 contribution right now, and you'll get access to rent the whole 15,000 square foot space for 24 hours in 2022, which is unheard of. If you start to like look around, it's even unheard of for us, but this is on the front end. So we're going to look out for those who are ready to execute just like us. So yeah, we love you guys to life. I need some rest. I want to make sure that if you have any questions, if anything comes up, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for coming through this live. If you made it to this live late, the first I don't know how long I've been live, but like the first 10 to 15 minutes, I covered everything that this live was supposed to cover, i.e., the things you should be doing while you wait for your W2s or 1099s to arrive to file taxes. So make sure to check it out. Go back and check it out. You can, if you don't have the ability to watch the video, because of time or convenience or whatever, you can always go listen to it on Clubhouse as well. Our link to our Clubhouse is in our link tree as well, so you can always go back and listen to the recording there. And I'm leaving that one now because that one is over. In the event you do have the ability to come back and look at this video at a different time, make sure you take notes and implement, and then also make sure you share it with somebody. This is a time where how you start the year is how you end the year, to be truthful. So if you have any plans, if you have any goals, if you have any desires, right now is the time to start laying the framework for you to just follow through consistently with it. In the event you do not, you're going to find yourself struggling as the momentum in the tests and trials that come with the middle to the end of the year start to kick in. Also, this is a really great time to start investing. Not to get too far left field, but this is a great time to start investing. The beginning of the year, the stock market had a lot of pullbacks. In the event you are looking for some passive income, this is a really great time to start an investing strategy that will pay you out at a pretty decent yield We just doubled down on a number of stocks and ETFs that are paying us a 15% yield. Nobody is offering a 15% yield right now. So if you understand what that means a 15% yield. The investments we made with 15% yields, and this is I'm wrapping it up here. The investments we made with 15% yields, they pay out monthly. What does that mean? That means monthly they are compounding on each other. So by the end of the year, it's actually way higher than a 15% yield because everything is dripping right now. And dripping is a dividend reinvestment plan. That means every single thing that it pays us out is going into buying us more. And so by it going into buying us more, it's actually multiplying the value of the investment we have. And the way we set up our investments specifically, I'm just going to speak on us. We set up our investments that we plan to drip in a way where it pays out the full interest per dividend payout. What do I mean by that? I mean, um, if the yield is 15%, we're gonna buy enough stock or ETFs at the bare minimum that 15% is what we receive as a payout. A 15% value is what we receive per thing. So, prime example. I'm gonna keep it super simple so it makes sense to the average Joe. In the event you own something that is $100 a share, right? 15% is going to be $15. What that means is if it pays 15% and it is $100, for you to receive $15 every dividend period, which can drastically vary. It can drastically vary. I'm gonna try to keep this simple for y'all. It can drastically vary from it's two common ways that dividends pay out. They typically pay out quarterly, right? Meaning 4 times a year. They pay out annually, 1 time a year, or they pay out monthly, every single month. So if it pays out 15% over the course of if it pays that month, if it pays 15%, which is for the whole year, but it pays out monthly, it means it's technically paying you somewhere around 1.6% per month. Do you understand? So for it to pay 1.6% for a month, that means we would need to own it for us to start when we first start owning it. It means we would need to own at least 12 shares of the ETF, of the stock, of the whatever. Why? Because times 12 times 12 equals 144, which translates to mean 12 months at that 15% yield. So what that means is you have to own 12 shares to receive $15 per month, right? Because it splits your 15% yield into 12 months, right? So the awesome part about owning 12 shares is you get paid that $15 the first month you own the 12 shares. What does that mean? That means that $15 is being invested into owning a 15% of another share. So by the time the second month comes in, you're going to own 15% of a share on top of the 12 shares you already own. So it's going to be 12.15. Then next month, it's going to compound on that. So it's going to pay you 15% of a whole share's value on top of, and it's just going to continue to compound. By the time you make it to the end of the year, it's going to be over 15% received because you've accumulated more shares throughout that time. And because you own 12, that means it's going to probably accumulate at not 15%, but 15% on top of itself. So yeah, I hope that helped. If that did not help, oh my God, slide now DMs and I'm going to create an actual digital demonstration and make it make sense for the average person. But this is a time to get into some passive income source, including dividend income. There's some very, very reliable options out here. Typically, the ones we invest in, they've been going strong for at least as long as I've been living, i.e., 30 plus years, 20 plus years, so that there's like, it would literally, the sky would have to fall out of the sky for them to just stop paying completely. So, so just that reliability ends up allowing that to be an income source that keeps on giving. And we have a lot of other stuff up our sleeves, but I'm done talking for tonight. We love you guys to life. Let's touch base next week. Make sure you implement all the stuff from the beginning of this live.